long time. We back now.
You twins?
Nah, we cousins.
This gift can bring fame and fortune, but it also can pierce the veil between life and death.
The growing attention around Sinners has created an atmosphere of constant anticipation, with each new whisper and development adding another layer of intensity to the project's reputation. The world surrounding the story has been expanding in ways that feel both intimate and massive, as if the creators are carefully shaping a narrative that examines human flaws through a lens of raw emotion and atmospheric tension. Every recent detail has added weight to the idea that this project isn't simply meant to entertain, but to provoke thought, self-reflection, and conversations about morality, consequence, and the thin lines that separate right from wrong. The updates that have surfaced internally describe a creative direction moving deeper into psychological storytelling, emphasizing broken characters, quiet tragedies, and the struggle between redemption and self-destruction. As development continues, the internal team working on the project has reportedly refined the thematic core of Sinners to be even more character-driven than originally planned. New layers of conflict have been embedded into the storyline, focusing on fractured relationships, hidden guilt, and the slow-burning tension that emerges when people are forced to confront the versions of themselves they try hardest to bury. Early creative meetings emphasize the importance of authenticity, pushing the emotional tone towards something darker yet strangely beautiful. These recent enhancements suggest a stronger commitment to nuance, complexity, and a sense of realism that should make the final product feel grounded, haunting, and emotionally charged. Behind the scenes, one of the most discussed updates is the project's shift toward a more atmospheric style of visual storytelling. The creative team has been exploring muted color palettes, shadow-heavy environments, and slow, lingering shots that highlight the emotional weight of each moment. This stylistic evolution reportedly came from the desire to portray guilt and inner conflict not just through dialogue, but through the world around the characters. Locations are being chosen for their oppressive stillness, their subtle sense of decay, and their ability to mirror the emotional erosion the characters experience. This artistic direction hints at a story that breathes through silence, tension, and the unspoken truths that hover between characters. Recent internal notes indicate that character development sessions have become one of the most important phases of the project's progress. The creators have spent significant time crafting intricate backstories for every central figure, no matter how small their role might appear. These backstories are not simply decorative. They influence the characters' behavior, fears, motivations, and the emotional burdens that shape every decision they make. Early impressions suggest that each character in Sinners is written with layered contradictions, people who believe they're making the right choices, yet constantly spiral into consequences shaped by their pasts. This emphasis on psychological depth is becoming one of the defining strengths of the project. One of the more recent updates describes how the team experimented with restructuring the narrative timeline. Instead of presenting events in a straightforward chronological order, they tested a format that jumps between past traumas, present dilemmas, and glimpses of the future. These shifts are designed to reflect how guilt distorts perception, memory, and reality. The intention is to guide the audience through an emotional puzzle rather than a traditional storyline, encouraging them to piece together the characters' histories the same way the characters attempt to piece together their own identities. This approach reportedly brought a new level of emotional power to several key moments, making them hit harder and linger longer. The conversations within the production circle show that music and sound design have become major components in shaping the tone of Sinners. The recent updates reveal that the team is experimenting with minimalist soundscapes that rely heavily on subtle ambient noises, distant echoes, low-frequency rumbles, and shifting atmospheric textures that feel almost subconscious. Rather than using loud musical cues to command emotion, the project is steering towards soft, eerie sounds that slowly build tension until it becomes nearly unbearable. This design choice reflects the theme of internal struggle, as if the characters are haunted not by external threats, but by the quiet, suffocating weight of their own regrets. As new discussions arise, there has been a notable focus on the moral philosophy embedded into the story. The latest drafts reportedly explore the idea that there are no pure heroes or pure villains, only people shaped by their mistakes and desires. Decisions are intentionally written to feel neither right nor wrong, but painfully human. The updates suggest that the creative team wants the audience to feel torn, conflicted, and introspective, forcing them to question what they themselves would do in similar situations. This direction elevates the emotional complexity of the narrative, giving sinners the potential to resonate not just as entertainment, but as a reflective journey into human imperfection. Some of the biggest internal conversations revolve around the emotional centerpiece of the project, the theme of redemption. In recent developments, this concept has grown far more nuanced than originally envisioned. Redemption isn't presented as a straightforward path, but as something jagged, unpredictable, and often painful. Characters attempting to make amends face obstacles created not just by the world around them, but by their own inability to let go of the past. The story now portrays redemption as something that must be earned through self-awareness and sacrifice, making it one of the most compelling emotional threads woven into the evolving script. Another update highlights an increased focus on interpersonal tension. The latest revisions emphasize relationships strained by betrayal, secrecy, and the kind of emotional distance that grows silently between people who once trusted each other. These dynamics have reportedly been refined to make every interaction feel charged, as if any conversation could shift the entire direction of the story. This emphasis on fragile relationships adds emotional stakes that make the characters' journeys more heartbreaking and relatable. It also supports the overall atmosphere of uncertainty, making viewers question who is truly sincere and who is hiding something darker beneath the surface. Recent creative discussions also explored the visual symbolism that will appear throughout Sinners. The team has introduced recurring motifs like cracked mirrors, flickering lights, and abandoned structures to represent the fractured state of the characters' minds. These visual cues are meant to deepen the storytelling without relying on dialogue, allowing viewers to interpret the imagery and derive their own meaning. This symbolic layer adds richness to the narrative, giving the world a distinctive identity that feels consistent and emotionally driven. Another interesting development revolves around the psychological pacing of the story. Instead of relying on constant action or rapid movement, the creators have crafted a rhythm that alternates between suffocating stillness and sudden emotional explosions. These contrasts are designed to mimic the way guilt builds inside a person quietly at first, then violently all at once. The recent adjustments to pacing reportedly transformed several scenes into powerful emotional highlights, making them more memorable and impactful. Discussions have also revealed an increased interest in exploring the consequences of choices that characters made long before the story technically begins. This backward-facing approach invites the audience to understand how deeply the characters' pasts influence their present actions. Internal notes suggest that some of the most gripping moments come from the slow unraveling of hidden truths that the characters hoped would stay buried forever. These revelations serve as emotional turning points that push the narrative into darker, more vulnerable territory. One of the creative breakthroughs mentioned in recent updates involves the shift toward more intimate storytelling moments. These small but meaningful scenes, characters sharing quiet conversations, confronting their fears, or revealing pieces of themselves they usually keep hidden, have become crucial in shaping the emotional direction of the project. The creators have emphasized that these intimate moments carry just as much weight as the more dramatic events, giving the audience time to feel, reflect, and connect with the characters on a deeper level. Another key update revolves around the emotional arc shaping the final act of the story. The latest notes indicate a desire to end the narrative with a mixture of hope and tragedy, blending emotional closure with lingering uncertainty. Instead of offering a neatly wrapped conclusion, the creators prefer an ending that reflects the messy nature of real human experiences. Some wounds fade, some stay, and some transform the characters forever. This direction promises a powerful and emotionally resonant finale. In the most recent stage of development, new layers have been added to the world building, giving the setting an identity that feels authentic and immersive. The environment is being crafted to feel like a reflection of the characters themselves, with locations that seem worn, weathered, and heavy with unspoken stories. This world is built to feel lived in, shaped by past events that echo through every corridor, street, and shadow. The updates show that the creators are committed to making the setting feel like a character of its own, adding richness to the overall experience. All of these updates combined indicate that Sinners is slowly evolving into something far more profound than a simple project. It's becoming an emotional exploration of human faults, a cinematic dive into guilt, redemption, and the fragile line between who people are and who they wish they could be. Every recent detail points toward a story that aches with vulnerability, tension, and a sense of haunting beauty rarely seen in modern storytelling.